everyone. Yeah, I'm still here. Um, I'm just going to get into it, but I want to say this isn't about everyone, okay? You know, speaking about all different things. Um, and for the ones that, well, are left, you know, whatever, and the new ones, you know, especially, I don't know how many times I had to start this. Um, you know, how many interruptions and you know um, because of them sending now, because they're sending is because the ones that they're getting to be involved and lying to them, first of all, um, because they can't do the stuff themselves, so they need help. So how they're getting more people and everything, which is is stopping, because they're getting your energy and going around people to get some energy. This way they can continue to get more people and to do if they're doing it too. Um, but they don't have powers, so they need help even more. Um, anyway, like I said, don't make it fit if you're not doing anything. And if you did stop and is trying to make it better or make a difference, no, I'm not speaking about you. Okay? At least you stopped and you're doing something. Okay? Let's understand that. Now, first, I want to speak um, about this BS of if someone's pregnant, they have a human inside them. Okay? Doesn't matter if it's unborn or whatever. If somebody makes them lose the baby, they should be charged for murder. Now, I'm bringing this up because I don't know how many I've seen. And with this. Now, I don't know why people do this, where, you should be protecting each other, especially if you're friends. Now, these so called friends decided to have a baby shower. Now, the person shows up, for the baby shower. Everyone is right there. Did not do a thing. While the so called friends, I forget how many, but it was more than one, beat up the pregnant woman, their friend, supposedly. And they lost the baby. And apparently, they were not charged. Not even for murder, which they should have been. It's still human. Doesn't matter if it's not born yet or not. But nothing was done. Why is that? Now I'm tired of, I mean, men, they do other things, but this is ridiculous. Women should, you know, stick together. Men stick together. But everyone should stick together. Protect each other. Look out for each other. Doesn't matter if you're friends or not. I mean, and it doesn't matter what it is. If you don't want to be a friend, why take that energy, that you could be doing something else? Instead of, pretending to be somebody that you're not. Just to do something wrong and risk everything? Take, you know, the next thing, jobs and everything. I mean, be grateful that you do have a job. And ones who own the companies or whatever it is, uh, be grateful that, you have workers. But you should be, also seeing what they're doing too. Now, it just seems strange. I spoke about mostly all of this before, but it's still happening, but not for long. But can't get a hold of, customer services anymore. There's no phone numbers. There's no support or, unless you wait and wait and wait until somebody answers. And then who knows, you know, like to somehow, when I call, I always get, oh, I don't know. I'll just call them the fake ones. I mean, sometimes I do get the real ones, but, But the thing is, you call, you complain, not complain, you want to, ask questions about something or, take, oh, I don't know, you didn't get a package or you got the wrong package or whatever. You can't get in touch with anybody. Or you do get online, the support. uh, you get, okay, what is it, what can we help you with? And then they give you a list, nothing to do with what you need. And then on the bottom, the very bottom, it, or is it something else? You pick that, and then you go to another page or whatever it's called, and it doesn't list what you really need. And there's nothing where it has, you know, something else. But then, they have something where it's almost like what you need. So you figured, okay, you go on that, but then has nothing to do with what you need. Or, oh, bring it up with whatever it is, with the seller or whatever. But then you go on that, and nothing's there. Can't even write anything. You know, why did it all change? And why? And when you do actually speak to someone, why is it that, oh, we'll take care of it, but really don't? Now, with some things, it's, oh yeah, I'll take care of it. But after you hang up, if you do it by phone, you have more problems. You know, it's like, hmm, okay. So by you saying, oh, I'll take care of it, by doing it more, or not really telling, whoever not to do it. Hmm, interesting. So being I was being told that you think, or they think that I don't know, and spirit doesn't know. Hmm, okay. Okay. You think by continuing to do it that you think you're annoying me? Okay. Well, I'm being told Well, you're going to see if it does or not. And the other thing is, well, you forgot what I'm about to say, but you did forget that I am also part of who I'm going to speak about. And you still don't know who is around me. One in spirit, the underworld, and here on earth. You forgot. That's quite all right. You won't forget. Oh, believe me. Now, the ones. I mean, I call them the old ones, since I was a baby. But, you know, all the way up until now. But I'm speaking. It's been, really like really nonstop for about, I don't know, maybe 15 years or something like that. But I'm also speaking really about, I think, 7 years, 8 years, those ones. And the new ones. See, I didn't forget who you also went to. And other than them, well, you know who and what you did. It's a long list. Not going over it because I spoke about this since the beginning. See, I didn't forget about these ones either. You see, let's get into, the witches and the warlocks, and whatever else. Them. And let's get into, the ones that say that they're witch doctors or warlock doctors or whatever you want to call yourself. See, I only know, Native Americans who were called witch doctors, but they're actually healers. They're, you know, healer doctors or something like that. I forget. You get what I mean. But you see, they didn't do anything to harm people. They healed people. You see, if you didn't know, you're supposed to heal. You didn't do that, did you? Hmm. You didn't do that. But, you know, that we know you'll deny it, all of it. And so will all the groups, you know, and all the ones that, who you got. But that's okay. Go ahead. I know what is all did and still trying. But again, and I'm not the only one saying it, nothing, and I mean nothing or anything is working. It's all getting returned back to senders. As I said, faster than lightning. And now it's either going to be doubled or tripled of impact. Now, you see, it might have taken me a while to heal, fully, but I still kept going. I wasn't going to stop because you wanted me to. And God said, yeah, no, it's not happening. You know, I know what you did. And you see, I didn't heal fully because I was too busy handling. Oh, never mind. You'll find out. But that doesn't mean that I didn't know how to heal. But I know exactly what you did. Before. Oh, and now what you're trying, which isn't working. So, as I said, you'll see, since you didn't look around what was happening to the others. And if you messed with my family and myself, I also said there's a new game since you didn't think, what God gave to everyone to follow their purpose and some gifts, who tells the truth, helps guide everyone, and much more, you know. That you have to constantly keep on attacking. But, you know, you, as in the ones who continued to abuse your gifts, your talents, jobs, and more. And not only me saying it, you had plenty of time to do right. And again, no, I am not speaking about ones who are changing their life and doing what's right and making it better. It's the ones who think we don't know. And, you know, if they scatter apart from each other and be together in secret, you know. But when they're apart, you know, you guys still get together, you know, by doing video calls as a group and much more that you thought Spirit and myself wouldn't know. Okay. Now, you might have been born yesterday. I wasn't. Remember, like I said, we already took care of everything in spirit first. Now, without delay, guess where? Next. Well, it's already happening down here. I mean, all in spirit is where you belong. You know, right now you're in spiritual prison or wherever. Don't know. I did what I had to do. And didn't wait around, you know, to find out what God did. But, you know. So, down here, the rest. But in spirit, you know, well, You can guess. And what is down here going on? You know, what happens in spirit comes down here. I'm not going to explain. You should know that. But if you don't, you'll find out when it sneaks up. I mean, fair is fair. You like to sneak up on people. You thought you were sneaking up on, me by sending and everything. But I'm not going to get into that. But it's like, don't you think, don't think you could still hide and run. Do you still think that? Well, if you do, right there says you still believe your own lies. And so does the ones who are involved with you. All I can say is and I've been saying it, now you'll know what I went through. That wasn't even mine. It was all of yours. And it's all getting returned back to the owners, the originals, and to who you got involved. You see, you didn't give a hoot what I went through. I mean, of course you wouldn't. Or what others did. Or, you come after ones who do for others, that are innocent. You come for them. Doesn't matter. It's all a game, right? Okay. You all can take accountability now for all the piles of BS that is all of yours. And, who was involved with you. who had it in the first place, which is yours, and pushed it to others, not only me. You're going to find out. But again, I'll say, you messed with the wrong one. And I also said, now you will see and so will everyone else. And what else did I say that, you keep forgetting? I kept saying my both sides were out. Well, like I said, I spoke to God, heaven, and yes, the underworld. That's part of, spirit when I say everyone or etc. You won't be ready, like I said before. You see, you won't be ready for this new game. And it already started way before I decided to make this video. See, what is being said in this video is letting everyone know what's going on ahead of time. You see, you refuse to listen. Not only me saying it. Don't ruin your bloodline or, your fate, It's one thing, you play with magic, because you don't really know and you were told lies. And you thought nothing would happen. Plus, it's for money. Well, maybe if you didn't get clouded and, knew the difference, you wouldn't involve yourself with this kind of stuff. But, then you have ones who does have the gift and can read or do magic and etc. thing is, you should know not to ignore when you're told. Huh. Then you have others who just, you know, does harm or messes up their jobs and whatever else. So you paid attention, you know, hearing about bloodlines, curses, and whatever else that, you know, maybe that you see that happens. Hold up. You're done. You have to give me a second. I'm just about done. Yeah, I hear it. It's okay. You know, you don't see what's happening around, you know, to the others. But the thing is, you know, things go to one's heads who knows or can do. But forgets what's right. You know, you might have done something, you know, hey, it worked. Oh, I didn't get caught. Nothing happened. But, you know, for ones that have the gifts and all that, should already know about bloodlines and stuff like that. But never told ones that you got involved. But anyway, now for the bloodlines and gets ignored. Especially, you know, all who attacks, you know, most of all, you know, chosen ones, attacks ones, you know, who wants to change to make it better for themselves and their families. You know, it's called breaking cycles and, you know, breaking chains and etc. and much more. But, you know, all ignores all that, you know, our ancestors wants us to continue what they wanted to make it better. Hmm. And all that was ignored by whoever, you know, continues to repeat. Hold up. That's enough. Come here. Come sit down. Just wait. Just wait a minute. Okay? Just wait. Give me a minute. Okay? You be a good girl. Now you come up here and lay down or go in your room. Anyway, continues to repeat, ruin bloodlines and much more. Thing is, hold up. Come here. You're done. Now you lay down. Lay down. No. Okay? No. You're being a bad girl. Go to your room. Lay down. Good girl. Now, as I said, it's your bloodline that's being ruined, not others in the family who are out there making a difference. Now, our ancestors, don't matter where they are, in spirit of the light or spirit of the dark, I'll say it that way. They are giving signs to us to teach, not to repeat what they did. And what families continuing to do. They are saying, especially them, that they were of the dark. And that they were supposed to, teach. Of course. Of course. Something else you guys are playing with. Wow. Interesting. Keep it up. But anyway. That they were supposed to teach. Especially certain ones in the families, depending on, how we're close. Not to end up where they are. Sorry. That they didn't want us down here to end up like them, wherever they are. Because remember how I said, you're going to know what I went through. That, whoever put me in that, what do you think our ancestors went through? And telling you over and over again, the chains were broken, and we can teach, dark and light. And for you, for us, to continue and that someone in the family, started or already broken all off. for us to continue to do better? They were given all kinds of signs. Well, so were you. That everything changed and that instead of the whole entire family's bloodline, which it depends, only yours. Your bloodline. And it may go, well, you know, whatever which way. But could be, you will not be able to come back, do anything. You won't exist anymore, and whatever else. It's not up to me. It's up to God. And you know it will be done instantly. Also told that they said they're hoping that the new ones learn. And when they are told not to mess with the wrong one or whatever it is, that they hope they listen. Because we are here to make it better. Follow our dreams and purpose and accept if it changes slightly, to bring us another way or whatever else. I said this before. They are also saying they are tired of the same BS. Like, they waited till it was too late, to say, oh, I forgive you, or do I have forgiveness? Oh, I should have helped better, protect, and kept everyone together, even though, we were making it better and solving and much more. So now they're trying, to have our loved ones, their loved ones, down here. To continue to make it better, to get along. protect each other, as I said before. Build up our communities, make it safe. Or, you know, and don't repeat. Don't make the same mistakes that, they did because they didn't listen. And, they don't want us to keep silent like they did. They also see, ones not explaining the truth and hiding things from ones. Just telling lies. And bringing stuff back that is able to be prevented. They see more hatred among each other. One's making it harder for others than solving their own. Because they don't want to. There's so much more, help. And they're giving more and more signs to help us. As they, want us to make them understand of all this ignoring, you know what I'm trying to say. And, continuing to make it harder and not better. And much more, instead of you're not understanding them when they are making an effort to teach us. As in, they're trying to, well, they are. They're giving children, teens, young adults, a whole bunch of signs to try to get through to them. Because of today, their attitudes. What they do. Like, take, teens, stealing cars and joyriding. But when they hit somebody and, well, kill them, you know, and then they think that it's funny. They didn't think that they would get caught or go to jail or prison or whatever. Why? Because you're a teen? And, like I said, when they do get caught, they also think that someone or parent or parents will get them out of it. Because they didn't do anything. And it's all because I'm not saying that you can't speak in front of your children, but if you know they're there, just don't say things in front of them, but then don't explain it. Because, they take it the wrong way. And I already explained about one of them. Oh, it's child labor, blah, 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 whatever. Because they hear it from their friends. You see, like I said, kids, they hear things from one's speaking. And then, they have that attitude, like adults. They know it. So they tell their friends and whoever. They either bully or whatever. This way it's not done to them, or it is done to them, but they, whatever. And then you get, oh, well, our parents are too old. Or they're abusive because, we have to clean up our room or clean up after ourselves. Or, have chores. Or, well, they do it. They never got caught. All kinds of things. But they don't know the difference. Between whatever and being abused and etc. because of one's spreading lies or not explaining, making chaos for others, because they don't like parents disciplining or taking care of their children. Probably at one point they didn't have it. So, as an adult, you should have known You did have it, but ignored it. And realized, as an adult, you should be, breaking the cycle and making it better. But like I said, and I've said it before, and Spirit isn't giving leadways anymore. You will listen on the first sign. And if you don't, well, I don't know what to say. But, you start with leave others alone. Stop getting into people's business. And start making a difference. And finding your own purpose. What was that? Okay. Okay, whatever. Because we are here to help others, each other, to help authorities, to help, Spirit, to protect each other. Speak up and nip things in the butt instead of letting ones continue to make the chaos and etc. The long list. I said it all this before. But, it is different now because it's going to be happening instantly. When you do to others and make problems or harming. And whatever the long list is, because it's time to know what accountability of what being accountable, what you did means. And the other thing is, what else, Spirit and etc. are going to give a sign to the ones who take advantage and keeps on repeating. As in, I spoke about this, some of it, since the beginning. You see, people go to others, for help. Don't matter what it is. They go to people, for contracts. if you need it. But those who do, it's not everyone who does it. Why can't you take your job seriously? You see, with the contracts, like I said, it's like the font or whatever. It's in a good size where you could read it. This is with anything, but the disclaimers and etc. Whatever is real small that you really can't read. And it's to trick people. Especially, with ones that don't have anyone that can go, who understands what's written. And sometimes they'll lie, for reasons too. Probably because they're in with it. But then you have others who you go to that don't know what's wrong with you, or they do, but don't take care of it. And then you have, things just get passed that shouldn't. It makes it worse, or it doesn't really help, or nips it, to what is really going on. And then you have the ones that don't have anything that don't have anything on it to explain what it is, what's in it, or, if it's for children, if it's not, etc. And then you have, which is still happening, all costs went up, especially in bills, the food. And then you have like workers, they don't pay attention. And then you have, those workers who are supposed to deliver to places, but they go to the wrong place. I like to know how you go to the wrong place when you have where you have to go. And then you have ones, are still messing up people's food or whatever is being delivered. you know etc. Everybody knows what's going on. And then companies don't know what their workers are doing. Take the ones who have the contracts, okay? And whatever, but you have someone type it up. But you're not part of, you know, like what you wrote to take advantage of someone, you know, having that person to lose everything or whatever. The thing is, this is what I like to know. Now, things might be changing, that word that people don't like, when it's brought up. Oh, you need to change or, you know, change to make it better or whatever. The thing is, things might be changing, but, you know, it's called old school way. You should still have. This way you could still have, you know, your company and everything and know what workers are doing. What I mean by that is, don't anybody proofread their contracts? Especially if you don't, if you're not involved with trying to take advantage of someone, but you have someone type it up. But you don't proofread before you have someone sign, right? Now, first of all, other than not proofreading, now, one, certain things, which, when things are smaller than the rest, that means that something's up. Anyway, and it's small, and it doesn't matter if you have glasses or not, you still have problems trying to read it. And you can't say that, well, you probably can say, oh, yeah, I can read it. Well, that's because you wrote it. But do you really know if you didn't proofread it, what it actually says? And you're not involved in taking advantage. Now, say you hired your worker and you gave that worker to type it up. Now, if you don't proofread, how do you know that they're just working there because they knew that that person was coming in to sign whatever? Okay? Now, they knew that that's where they were going, and they came to you to get hired, and hoping that you would ask them to type up, and knew from someone that they know in there that you don't proofread, and they changed it because they wanted to sabotage that person. So they changed what you wrote. Would you know that? No, you wouldn't them unless you proofread it, right? And the thing is, it can be all kinds of ways. Okay? I mean, I'm not saying, and I'm being told, it's not everyone, okay, that does that. It's to say and tell you to pay attention. Because, people are raising things because they're not paying attention. They have companies, they're not paying attention what their workers are doing, or they don't proofread, and they wondering why everything has to go up because, oh, I don't know, you're not making, how you used to or whatever. I mean, like I said, it could go all kinds of ways. But the thing is, by doing all that, raising everything, you're hurting everyone else. Instead of nipping everything in the butt, and others who knows start speaking up, because you do know that you don't speak up, you're part of it because you knew. See, I'm being told because we need to start paying attention, helping others, protecting each other, speaking out, speaking up. And remember, if you waited too long, to ask for forgiveness, waiting for apologies or give apologies, you might not be able to, okay? It's about, you need to forgive yourself and start making it better and a difference. And if you worry, don't push it on to others, or, if it's anything else. It's about believing in yourself and God, your loved ones, spirit, to help you also, to know, to ask them to help, handle, and guide you for the help. Because worrying and stressing out and whatever else, you do know that it affects not only you, but others around you and your own health. And also, it could put you in deeper trouble in many ways. And for the scare tactics, putting fear into people, stalking, and much more, that will also be returned back. I said this before, to let you know. So Spirit will let you know what you put others through. Whatever it is, and you know what you're doing, to others. Same thing. It's being returned. See how it feels. Along with, the long list that's around the whole entire world that you tacked on. I mean, But as I said, it's all, and I mean everything, what was done. And I really don't care if this is a word or not. But what was done and stupidly still trying to do to me is already done in spirit and been started down here. And all will be finished, all up down here. So think about it. It's one thing you didn't want to listen, to parents or what could happen when you knew. And what will happen because you're big, you're older. You know everything. Okay. They want to know, why is it doing the opposite? Just because. And thinking it's better. Not thinking that, what is said or whatever, it's also teaching. others and not listening to the actual ones who are telling the truth and want for ones not to make the same mistakes and to pay attention around, you know, them, to respect others, you know, um, everything. But they're also saying, you know, all that. This way it will bring you far and to help you find your purpose and prevent whatever from happening. So, for them ones who are telling, it's not that, it's being overprotective. It's because they, you know, are listening, but also probably was in something like that and saying, we're not telling you, because we're trying to tell you what to do, as they say. Yeah, we're trying to tell you what to do, to pay attention, to help prevent. We're not overprotective. We're not telling you what to do as, being abusive. And then when, you know, some say it like, over and over again, but you don't listen. And then when the yelling comes, that's with everybody. But the ones who actually do it, but not like how others do it, you guys are abusive by telling people, oh, you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that, instead of, you know, actually yelling and correcting the right way. So that's how things got started. And children overheard. So, they tell other ones because, the other children weren't there. So, how do you think? You know, now, we're here to, bring, as they say, bring you far and find your purpose. prevent. But, yes, there are ones who lie and just keep you from doing and not speaking, about. I'm not speaking about, I'm not speaking about them, but, you know, even though if you're not sure, you still listen when you already know that they're lying and they just want to, keep you there and stuck or whatever. You do research or whatever. But you always pay attention because sometimes when you hear something like that and all that to try to prevent you from doing something, or just out of the blue, they say, oh, don't do that. Pay attention because you know exactly that it's going to happen. And I give you a guess why. But like I said, still pay attention anyway. Start helping to bring everyone together. As they say, start bringing everyone together to have that village. To be around us. And what we miss, others will see. To protect. And for the ones who keep texting and etc. About the real ones, you want me to miss because I ignore all of yours. Well, one, it won't happen. And if they wanted to get in touch with me, they already know how. And first of all, what made you think that they would anyway? Oh, to see. Either if one of them is my person, which you're not going to know until, I don't know. Or is it because they won't with you? So you think if you pretend to be them, it's like they know you. And you're best buds with them. So but some, you went really far, as I've been saying since I started that, you know, I got, which you edit it, their voices to say that you were them. And then you took but you also did it with others. But you also took, their videos, their pictures, that they have, and then sent it. Now, it depends what they are. Like to say, what was it? Oh, I'm with someone. You jealous? Okay. First of all, that's not how the real ones would do it. And then among the other videos and pictures, especially, when they're older. Now, I got this, and now it's being done to everyone. They are sending, other than the other text that I said before, they are sending they'll send a text. Now, it comes up saying it's blurred out. If you want to know what the message is, tap here. Now, it's two different things. It can be to get your location and information, and it's nude of either the real ones or of them. So don't click it or tap it. Now, for the real ones, I've said this before, again, since the beginning. It is who is around you. Okay? Especially if they know, you're in the shower, lock your damn door. Okay? Or you're getting dressed. Again, lock your damn door. where they can't get in. Because you might not know, pictures like that. Oh, believe me, I got one of the real one. Of someone. I spoke about that. Like, I don't know. I mean, really? And last, when you see ones who are changing and putting an effort to do better, that, they were ones who have done whatever, bullying and etc. I'm not saying not to pay attention, but you could also see, if they are pretending. But just let them, make that effort, make that difference, and try to, that they're trying to make it better. And maybe they are. And they actually want to help. Just say thank you. Or, I'm proud of you. Keep going. You are making a difference. The new you looks good. Of who you are now. I mean, I don't know what the big deal is by doing that. Instead of, bringing up what they've done, when you can see that they are trying to make an effort. You get it, and you understand what I'm saying. Like, don't judge or make a fool out of anyone, and etc. Just work together. Help each other. Help others. Bring, together. See all the results that comes out together, and what Spirit has for us. You could do that together. Not hard. Now, I'm done. But everyone have a wonderful morning, day, evening, night, whatever time it is. Sending lots of love, peace, light, positive thoughts all around the world. And thank you for taking the time to listen to my videos and joining the Team Empire and getting, them out. But again, thank you. Everyone, have a great day. And I hope this helps. Yeah, I'll be right there. Anyway, again, thank you. Have a great night, morning. Sorry. I'll get it right. All right. Ciao.